Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Puck in Deep with your host Pearlo Wisdom. How you doing, Pearlo?
I can't wait till that date, that first game. It's going to be awesome. Uh, Lots of not much news going on right now, but lots of previews to what or to get dive into. That Philadelphia one we just did is excellent. You guys are going to want to
Yeah,
check
man,
that
you got
out.
to check that out for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And now we're going to go on to the New York Rangers. And well, but this the with the Rangers, man, I don't have a good feeling. I picked them to miss the playoffs when they won the President's Trophy, and I went yeah, and
Okay.
then I went back to it last year though, and I'm sorry, I got to keep on going back to it here. I know they got a new coach and all of that, but I don't really see a different team. There was some weird situations that went on with Truba last year, and it seemed to hit the team pretty hard. Just not having much faith in management with the way they did things, the way they treated people, and all of those sort of things like that. And now you bring in a new coach, and I love Sullivan. I think Sullivan did a heck of a job in Pittsburgh, but I think he's got something big on his hands here to change all this around. I'm going to have to see it, I think is the best way to say it. If Sullivan can change the energy of this team and get them pointed in the right direction, I'll say good for you, buddy. Good for you.
I
But
agree. I agree 100%. Because that's what I think is going to be the biggest key. I'm hoping that everybody can hear us and all that other happiness because I don't. Let me check here. Let me just make sure we're good. Actually, Steve, can you do it? Can you go onto the YouTube channel and see if you can hear us?
yeah,
I hope everybody can hear us, man. Actually, Steve, can you do it? Can you go onto the YouTube channel and see if you can
No, I
hear
think we're
us?
good.
yeah, we're good.
Yeah, we're good. Cool, cool. All right. So,
Yeah.
we were talking about the New York Rangers here on Puck in Deep with the great Pearlo Wisdom, and let me say this. I think that the New York Rangers are they're not in a good way as
Yeah.
far as I'm concerned. Okay, look, they had a coach there in Laviolette, and they had quite the roster of players. They've done some turnover considerably. Not only that, but they changed the guys behind the bench. They went from Peter Laviolette to Mike Sullivan. You alluded to it earlier. I think that's gonna affect this team massively because I don't know if he's going to be able to get those guys to where they need to be. Like they're not his guys. Do you know what I'm saying? So I mean, I don't know. I really think that it's going to take them a little bit before they're relevant again. Does that? I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, if you're Sullivan, when you think about it, the first thing I think you're looking at is kind of like erasing last year completely. And maybe that's kind of part of the reason why the coaching change, where he can go in and say, it's all fresh. I'm a new coach. Everything's water under the bridge. And we just have to decide here what our goal is and what do we want to do for this year. Um, you know, I'm willing to work with you guys to get the best out of each other to become a team that can win. And he's of course going to say we have If you we have all the we have all the pieces here. You know, Panarin is great. You have there's a lot of talent on this team. If we can focus on making the playoffs, I think we can do a lot of great things. And like I said, I don't think it's going to be too system orientated to begin with here. He's going to try to get these guys feeling good about themselves, and just enjoying the game. I think to start off with, he's going to be working on a lot of fun stuff. Try to make it fun. Remember why you played, all of those sort of things like that. Um,
That's a great
and
point.
so
Great
early,
point,
I could
yeah.
see like a lot of offensive games with the Rangers. A lot of not like I've mentioned a couple times with new coaches. He's gonna let them go and try to build trust with them. I think for the most part, because that's the word here. I think we're talking about is there's a lot of mistrust in this on
Yeah.
this roster. Um,
Yeah. Dude,
I think
that's perfect.
I think that's the word we're looking at here, and I think he's going to try to build trust, and then he's going to start showing. He's in an interesting situation where he almost has to show them that I'm here for you, and I care about you, and all of those sort of things like that. Um, Forget about man. Like he's not going to say forget about management, but he almost has to get them to forget about management and play for each other and all of those, and just have a direct. What are we trying to do here? What does it matter most? Why are we playing? Why are we? What are we doing today to win this game? And just you know get their focus on just that and forget about the rest of it. And I don't know. Sullivan's great. I think he can do that. I think he can get these guys doing that. But then there's another obstacle here. I'm not sure how great this roster is to begin with. Really. Um,
It is the drop off, man. When you lose, right? You lose the Chris Kreiders and the Keandre Millers, right? And
yeah.
have the turnover that they did, and they're. I just looked to see what they were doing for their preseason, right? And they're 1-1 in their preseason so far, right? Now I know you don't take any stock in the preseason,
No, I don't. No, no.
but let me just say this: I think that yes, the coach is going to have an impact on this team because it's the anti Laviolette. It's the exact opposite of the way Laviolette was. You know what I
You
mean?
think?
I, I,
Okay.
I almost have to believe that. I almost have to believe that because, look, we've seen Laviolette have success. We've seen him win a Stanley Cup, albeit, 10 years ago. We've still seen him
Mm-hmm.
do it, right? That's kind of where I'm at here. We've seen Mike Sullivan win a Stanley Cup too, but if you can't win a Stanley Cup with Sidney Crosby and Malkin and the likes of those guys on your team, you might not necessarily be the best coach. You know what I mean? So they have some talent. You got the Zibanejads, you got the Panarins. You look at the goaltender he gets to have. I mean,
I think the
you
goaltender, yeah.
automatically have a chance with Shesterkin back there. Just you look, you just if he's starting in net, okay, that's almost a check mark on the plus side for the Rangers, almost across the board. Until you start getting against the Bobrovskis and the Hellebucks and stuff like that. But you got to put him up there. Now, I think he had a down year last year because the whole team did. He also missed time due to injury as well.
Yeah, I'm definitely not putting this on Shusterkin.
Right.
Um, I got a theory though, because you got to remember how many coaches they've gone through here. I mean, how many coaches do you need to start
And
to
like
start being
in the last
effective?
what 7 years? In the last
Yeah.
7 years now.
And I've had a theory about the Rangers here, and I talked about it on a video I did, but I'll talk about it a little bit here, and then I'll get into the roster. Why do people want to go to New York? Like when before this whole tax situation came in Tampa and them, all them are good, and now everybody wants to go to those teams. Still, people want to go. A lot of players want to go to New York. New York doesn't usually have a. The Rangers usually don't have a difficulty drawing people there, and the main reason I believe because they have high taxes. There's a lot of things that they have, but one thing that the New York has is for millionaires is you can do whatever you want. Like there is everything for you in New York. If you've got money, whatever you enjoy doing, you can do in New York. It's an exciting place to be, right? And you have like our Timmy Panarin when he went there, he made it quite clear he wanted to go to New York or LA because his wife was a model, and that would be best place to be a model. I get that totally with you. By the way, tough life. All right, okay. $1 million player in Europe.
You know.
My model wife wants to play in LA or New York. I'd love to have those problems.
And
But
guess what? He's playing in New York. Go figure.
right. But here's the thing. Your model wife now is in New York. What did model wives do? They hang out with fashion gurus and celebrities and they do all that kind of stuff. Do you think Panarin just sits home and plays Xbox while that's happening? Probably not. He's probably on that trip too. He's with her. Guess who's not with him when they're doing that? His teammates. And a lot of these players that are in New York, I think, can get caught up in the fact that you're living separate lives until you come and play in the rink. Like you look at teams like Winnipeg, why are they so successful? Although not in the playoffs. There's nothing to do in Winnipeg. If you're in Winnipeg, you're probably hanging out with each other, and
Because
there's
there's
nothing to
nothing to
do.
do up there.
There's
Okay.
Exactly. So you got a family atmosphere in those kind of places, and could Matthew Kachuk said last year that whenever they went anywhere, and you can do that at this in Florida too, go off your own separate ways, but wherever they went anywhere, they went together. Everybody went together. It was like this big happy family, and they did things together. I think in New York, and what Sullivan might have to do here, or is going to probably have to work on, this is just a lean, is that he's going to have to come in and say, okay, guys, that's it. He's going to have to start making team events, team building events where everybody has to go and get this team as a unit. Because if you watch them on the ice, even, they don't seem like they're connecting, especially 5-on-5. They do really well at high percentage shooting. That was the reason why they won the President's Trophy that year. Terrible 5-on-5 team, but
Yeah.
they were a high percentage shooting team. You know what that means? They're happy. When you're feeling it and you're feeling good and you're enjoying life and everything, all those shots that hit the post before, now you pick the corners. So he's going to have to balance this out. And I think this team just needs to become more of a team first and foremost before they do anything. What I see on
Do
this
you
team,
think that could happen this year, though?
can he do it in 1 year? I'm banking not. I don't have. I
Yeah.
have the Rangers barely making the playoffs if they make the playoffs at all. Um,
Okay.
just on roster alone, from what I've seen so far, Alexis Lafreniere, he seems to be that this is what he's going to be, and it's not good enough. He doesn't play defense well. He doesn't. He doesn't. He
He's
puts
not a
up point.
complete player. He's not a complete
He's
player.
not
He's
a
not.
complete player at all.
Yeah.
Vinny Trocheck's great for a second liner. I like him. Panarin can be great when he's feeling it. When he's
And the same
feeling
thing with Zibanejad too.
Zibanejad is a really good example. Here's a guy that 3 years ago he was playing good 3 zone D, but if there's a disconnect, he's not the guy that's going to connect it. He actually goes kind of whatever the team does. He goes down with the team or up with the team, but he doesn't. And talk about Zibanejad. Zibanejad is a DJ on the side. I don't know if you know this, and
Yeah.
he's a very important one. So when he's out DJing doing that, do you think he's hanging out with his teammates? No, I don't think so. And that's
I'm
why they
noticing
brought
a
in.
theme here, Perlo.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons why they brought in a JT Miller, because Miller is a big teammate guy,
Yeah,
although he didn't
yeah.
do so well with Pedersen or whatever
Well,
happened there.
they just named him as the 29th captain.
Captain. And that tells me a lot.
Brought a guy in and named him captain.
Right. And that tells me a lot because I think what's happening here is Sullivan's going to come in. JT Miller's a guy that will do, he's very coachable.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And he doesn't take not doing pulling the line
He
well. I
he
think
he
that's what
he,
happened with Pedersen. Pedersen kind of
yeah.
went off the rails.
He holds guys
Miller didn't
accountable.
take it well,
Yeah,
didn't act right, but he won't. But he's going to give accountability is the word I'm looking for.
yeah.
So they're going to really lean on that. And I think that's the direction they're going to go here. I don't know how much they're going to accept this, but it has got to be. This team just does not work as a unit at all that I've seen. We can go down the lineup. I don't think their defense is very good. William Borgen's playing way too high. Susie's playing way too high. They went and got Gavrikov and
Gavrikov
Fox
is
is
not.
great.
Yeah, yeah.
They're,
And
they're going to be great. You don't need to
and
worry about them. But the
and
rest of the is, nah, you know.
but I also think you have to put your information about Adam Fox as well too, because he's so underrated as far as I'm concerned. I mean, maybe not. He did win a trophy, a couple of years ago, but I think he helps. I think he's going to be one of those guys that Sullivan's going to lean on to be part of the leadership group. Do you know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
And I think that's well deserved of Fox. Okay? I
Yeah,
I
of
think
course. It's a great defense.
I think he has an opportunity to thrive in a Sullivan system.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay? So now they just need to get some help. Because
They
like you
need to
said,
get they need to get people back in the coach and say, look, guys, if we're going to succeed, this is the way it's got to be.
they need to get see, here's what Perlo was talking about, He's talking about getting the guys to buy in.
Huge.
As a coach,
Big
that's
ask.
the first thing you have to have guys do is buy into what you're shoveling.
Yeah.
Okay?
And
Seriously.
and and the good thing about Sullivan is he comes from a team that has Sidney Crosby. If you've heard anybody talk about Sidney Crosby, nobody includes the team more and takes care of his players more than Sidney Crosby. I've heard some amazing stories about
I
what
have
he does
two.
for his teammates
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So he can kind of fall on that and say, look, in Pittsburgh, the reason why we had success was because we became a team. And what I'm seeing here, no offense to any of you guys, is I'm not seeing enough of it. And if you
Yeah.
want to succeed, you're going to have to trust me here.
Yeah, yeah.
So, whatever you do on the side in your life and stuff like that, I'll try to make sure that you can still have your individual lives, but we got to spend some time together at home, on the road. We have to become a unit and play for each other and do things not as individuals on the ice and off the ice. And I believe that's the message he's going to come here. And how much are they going to accept it? I guess we'll find out. I mean, they haven't. They apparently they've been talking with Panarin about a next contract, and they're talking about asking him to take a big team friendly deal. So we'll see what happens with that. But and I think also this could have a lot to do with why Alexis Lafreniere has kind of struggled in his. And actually, young players in general have had a difficult time in New York, and a lot of that could be because they don't really feel part of something. You know, you all get off the plane off of a road trip, and everybody goes their own way,
Yeah.
and these kids are like, okay, well, I guess I do that too. And
Especially coming from where they've come from, where these guys are. I mean, these junior league guys and these college guys and the junior leagues and all that, man, they spend days, weeks, months
Yeah,
with each other. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. Yeah, 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 yeah. They're
right?
used to this team unit,
That's what I
and
mean. And then they get
they're
up into the
really trying to
pros and they're
lean
like,
on these veterans, but they have their own lives. Like, it feels weird, and I think it's just and this is just a theory. I could be way off. If
you know,
anybody
it's
knows,
that's funny
but
that you say that, Perlo, because I've heard a lot of other teams, not the New York Rangers, but I've heard of other teams where the veteran guys take the younger guys in. They will even live with them for a period of
yeah,
time. I mean, and
yeah,
help them get established. They'll help them get a place to rent, whatever, blah, 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 blah. I mean,
exactly.
all you have to do is look at like what Mario Lemieux did with Sidney Crosby.
Yeah,
That's
he
all you
took
have
him
to.
in.
He took him in, right? And you hear of other teams that do that. Philadelphia is a team that's done that. A lot of their players throughout the years, when they get new guys in, they'll do that. I hear a lot about that from like Nashville. I hear a lot about that from Carolina. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? From Colorado. Other,
yeah.
really, there's
Steven Stamkos in Tampa Bay used to do all of that. He was
that
much like Crosby that way. He cares
ex-
about his players a lot.
exactly, exactly, especially in Detroit, where they did that a lot in Detroit too, right?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Okay, so
And I have never heard this happening in New York ever.
right,
I've never
that's what
once
I'm
heard
getting
about.
at. That's what I'm
That's
getting
what
at
I'm
here,
trying to
right? That's
say.
what I'm getting at. Never
So
heard this happening in New York. You
yeah,
never, even Lundqvist. You
yeah.
never heard Lundqvist be like taking the guys under his wing and helping him out. I mean, I'm not saying that he's not a
Maybe they
bad
did,
guy.
but I've just
We
never
never
heard
heard it.
it.
Right, we
And
never
they
heard it.
play like a team that, and if you look at it logically, like I said, Zibanejad's a DJ. Panarin's got the model wife. You're in New York. You're going to these clubs and you're doing all the things that you like to do. And I don't blame them, because that's, if I had
Yeah,
millions, I'd want to do that
I
too.
mean that's
But
their prerogative. That's their
maybe they
prerogative. It's
need
their
a
life.
coach to go in there and say, "Hey, man, we gotta work together here and make sure we can do stuff
Tell
as
you
a
what,
team." All that.
make a deal with the
And
guy.
if anybody's going to do that, it's going to be Sullivan with how
Uh,
Pittsburgh used to run. So,
he's gonna have to go into the room and be like, "All right, guys, I'll tell you what. I'll make a deal with you. We'll pay you millions of dollars a year, but we have to be sweating and clawing and fighting and scratching for at least 8 months out of the year.
mhm.
Okay, the other 4 months, y'all can do whatever y'all want to do, right?
Yeah,
But for 8 months, we need y'all
mhm.
here,
Yeah.
okay? And I think that's the kind of commitment that you're talking about that Sullivan's going to try to ask these guys to do. Now, can the Trotreks, can the Zibanejads, can the Panarins, can they do
Are they
that?
going to be willing to do it? That's the thing.
Right.
What are we talking about? Four coaches that Panarin's had since the beginning, and that we really, I know that they made it. I know people say, well, they made it to the conference finals and stuff like that. But honestly, there's a reason why I took them to miss the playoffs, because they were doing it on very high shooting percentage and amazing goaltending.
I
And that's
mean,
just
that was the
usually
year,
not going
and that
to,
was the year. Yeah, he won the trophy that year, right? The Vezina.
I, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
so like I said, the fact that you even have that goaltender, could you imagine if Sullivan had anything remotely close to a Shesterkin as a goaltender, even when he won the cup? He probably could have
Yeah.
won a couple more cups if he had some goaltending.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's
Yeah.
got some goaltending going on now. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I agree with you about Lafreniere. I, because look, I think the man is talented, but I think he has been either underused or not used in the correct way and or not used to his strength. And the fact that he's still relatively young means that I'm hoping
Still
that he can be
24. Yeah.
coached into a 200-foot player. I mean,
Really.
many other players have been able to do that. The Ovechkins, the Crosbys, the all those other players have been like, hey, look, if you don't play a 200-foot game, you're not going to win a cup, right? And
Mm.
then boom, hey, look what happened. Ovechkin started playing a 200-foot game, and boom, hey, he hoisted a
Yeah.
cup. You
Yeah, I
know,
think a lot of it has to do with, like, especially with Laviolette. He had a very complex defensive system, and that's just, you know, and if you're not playing as a team, systems are tough to play. It's a lot of feel, a lot of chemistry. Everything has to kind of work. You need to know who's going to be there, that you're going to be there at that time when I pass the puck up there and all that kind of stuff like that. And if these players are disconnected, it's it doesn't matter what system you put in place, it's not going to matter. So that's going to be a challenge here for the Texans on adjust. Uh, I'm here a little bit.